Everything you do with the pawns, you can do with the cubes as well. And that is true for both the red and green, so the positive and negative numbers. For this first one, x plus 4 is blue pawn plus 4 and is equal to negative 6. Now, green cubes or negative numbers are written with a circle, and so that's the setup. We want to get this pawn by itself, so for that to happen, we need to do the opposite, which is add an equal number of cubes to both sides. We're going to add a 4 to both sides, and it's going to be a negative. When we do that, on the left-hand side then, those two are going to add to 0 because they are opposites. And so these can be removed. So it's remove a 0. And that then gives us our last step, which is our blue pawn is going to be equal to negative 10. So blue pawn, which is x, is equal to negative 10. So you have to be careful with the green pawns, the green cubes, make sure you are using circles, and then when you pull the answers down, make sure that you are also watching that negative sign. So when we check this x, which is negative 10 plus 4, is that equal to negative 6? And the answer is yes, that is. So go ahead and try the next one on your own. The solution to this one is white pawn, which is star, which is negative 6 is 6, and the check number is going to be 16. I'll pause the video and try that one. Now, when we get down to here, we see that we're trying to take away a negative 10, but we don't have a negative 10 yet, and so we're going to have to add a convenient 0 in order to take that away. So we start with 3x, which is 3 blue pawns. We want to take away a 10 that's negative, which means that we have to add this convenient 0. We add those, and then we take away the negative 10. I recommend, remember, that you right away sketch what you have for the reset so that you don't forget that you took that negative 10 away. And then on the right-hand side, it's 13. That's the setup. Now, instead of writing the 13, we notice we have a 10 on the left. If we break that into 10 and 3, and that's a simplify or unsimplify, we can then take away or remove an equal number of cubes from both sides, and when you do that, you then get blue pawn, 3 of them on the left, and the number 3 on the right. That means that blue pawn is equal to x is equal to 1, and we do our check to say 3 times 1 minus our negative 10, is that equal to 13? 3 plus 10, 13 is 13. So the check number is 13. Go ahead and try the one on the right, and just try it one way for now. And when you get done, you should find that blue pawn, which is x, is going to be 1, and the check number is going to be negative 4. Let's go down to that last set. Here we see that we're adding a negative 1. When we're adding a negative 1, that is talking about a green cube. So we have 3x, 1, 2, 3 blue pawns, plus a negative 1. So that's 1 with a circle. On the other side, minus 10. So plus a negative 10, and then plus 2 blue pawns. And that's the setup. Well, what we can do to start with is take away those pawns. So let's go ahead and reset. And And that will get us numbers on just one side. So if we remove an equal number of pawns, sorry, I was about to say cube, equal number of pawns, then as the reset, that gives us just pawns on one side. So we like that. And again, now we've got these, a 1 and a 10. Why don't we go ahead and make this 10 a 1 and a 9, and we'll call it a simplify, unsimplify. Because then we can remove an equal number of cubes. And that gives us then that blue pawn is just -9. So you get blue pawn, which is x, is, and it's a circle, -9. And we can do our check. That is 3 times -9 plus a -1 is equal to -10 plus 2 times -9. So it gives us -27 minus 1, -10 minus 18 minus 28 minus 28. Check number is -28, and blue pawn is x is -9. Go ahead and try the one on the right. Pause the video. Your solution is going to be white pawn is star is -x, or opposite x is -5, and the check number is going to be -18. When we go to the next page, let's take a look at this one. And we have lots of moving parts here. On the left-hand side, 2x, that's 2 blue pawns, plus x, another blue pawn, plus star, white pawn, plus a -1, so 1 with a circle. On the right is equal to 7, plus 2x, 2 blue pawns. And that's our setup. And let's go ahead and rewrite that. Remember, we like to remove first, so let's remove that 0 pair. And we can only do one step at a time. So we're going to remove 0 pair, then we reset. And after you do that, now we're going to remove an equal number of pawns from each side. And when you do that, you get -1 is equal to +7. That is never true. So there is no solution. And so yes, you can get equations that do not have a solution. So they are untrue. And that's what that looks like with this model. Let's go ahead and do one now with parenthetical expressions. In other words, this is saying I have 3 of this. I have 3 of blue pawn, take away 1. But to take away 1, I'm not going to have 1, so I'm going to have to add 0 pairs. So we have a couple things happening here. 3 times, and it's blue pawn. And then you want to take 1 away, but you don't have 1s, so we have to add 3 convenient zeros, so all of this is being added. So that we can take away the 1 3 times. That's going to give us then 1, 2, 3 blue pawns, and then these. That's where we are so far. Then we have to add 2 more blue pawns, 2x. And on the right side, 3x, it's 3 blue pawns, plus star, plus a -9, and that's our setup. So again, on the left-hand side, we have 3 times x minus 1. So 3 times a blue pawn, take away 1. But you can't take away 1 if you don't have them, and so you have to add this convenient 0. On the right, let's go ahead and rewrite. And so now our choices, what do we want to do? I'm going to remove a 0 pair. Remember, there's multiple options on how to go about solving these problems, but you do need to make sure that you use as few steps as possible. Let's go ahead and bring those ones down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 okay. Over here, 2 of them and a 9. Let's go ahead and take away, remove equal number of pawns. When you do that on the left, you have 1, 2, 3, and then 3 ones that are negative. On the right, you have 9. Now you have 2 choices. You can split this 9 up. This is what we've been doing, is taking that 9 and making it a 3 and a 6, or breaking it up so that we can remove equal numbers from each side. You could also add a positive 3 to both sides and do that, and then have zeros that way. So this is going to be remove equal number of cubes. Because 3 negative 1s are the same as negative 3, they are equal, and we have not changed the equation, so we can remove them. And that means on the left we have 1, 2, 3 blue pawns, and on the right we have a 6, and that gives us blue pawn, which is x, is equal to negative 2, and white pawn, because this one started with both, is opposite x is equal to positive 2. And then you need to do your check. And yes, you have to substitute everything in up to the original equation. 3 times negative 2 minus 1 plus 2 times negative 2. Is that equal to 3 times negative 2 plus 2 plus a negative 9? And you get minus 9 minus 4. Is that equal to minus 6 plus 2 minus 9? Minus 13 is minus 13. Check number is minus 13, and the answer is yes, it is the same. So we have one more problem on this down below to do together before we switch over. My Lord, there's a lot on this. This one again has parentheticals, and this time though we're trying to take away. So we start with star, so he's hanging out here. Then it asks us to take away 2 of this, but we can't take it away if we don't have it. So we're going to have to add 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1, and then the opposites of that, because we're really adding all of this is equal to 0. Then we take away 2 blue pawns plus 1 to give us on the left this. On the right hand side, 3 star plus a negative 10. This is set up. We can now remove an equal number of pawns from both sides. When we do that on the left, you get 2 white pawns, 2 ones, and on the right you get 10. Remember, we can split that up to be 8 and 2, or you can write it as 1 and 1. And now we're going to remove an equal number of cubes. And that gives us then white pawn is equal to 8 with a circle, so -8. Let's go ahead and write that. White pawn is star is opposite x is -8, but we have two of them there, sorry. It is -4. Each one's worth -4. And then blue pawn, which is x, is the opposite of that, is +4. Then you need to do your check. I'm going to let you do that. The check number is -22. And that does work. Go ahead and pause the video and try the one on the right. Your solution should be blue pawn is x is -2. White pawn is star is opposite x is +2 because that guy's negative. And the check number should be -6. So go ahead and pause the video and try that one. The check number is 5. Sorry, let me go up here and grab this. If I skip pages. I'm going to do one more for you and let you do this one up here on the right. For this guy, they're asking us here to take away 3 white pawns. And we don't have 3 white pawns, so we're going to have to add the convenient 0. So 2x is 2 blue pawns. They want us to take away 3 white pawns, so we're going to have to add 3 convenient 0s so that we can then take these guys away. Remember, right away we like to rewrite this because it gets really messy. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's take away 5. Well, we can't take away 5 if we don't have it, so we have to add the convenient 0, and then we're going to take that guy away, and that leaves us with a -5 on the right. On the left, 7 plus opposite x, which is white pawn. So now you take a breath and say, what do I want to do now? Well, on that right-hand side, if we add a blue pawn, we can then remove a 0 pair. So let's go ahead and do that. Add equal number of pawns. So we're going to add a blue pawn to both sides. So then on the left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these things. I'm going to stack them. Somebody asked, no, you don't have to stack them. I just keep better count that way. That's why I will stack them. I'm going to then remove a 0 pair. And when we do that, so now we get to an interesting problem, right? That at this point, up to this point, we've been able to break up the numbers we've had and take away pieces. Whereas these guys are different signs. And so we can't break that 7 into a 5 and 2 because it's +7. And so instead, we're going to need to add to both sides. Add equal number of cubes to both sides. And so if we add 5 to both sides, we've maintained equality. And then on this left side, these two are going to be removed because they equal 0. And this right-hand side we can simplify to give us 12. And here, we've removed the 0. That then gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue pawns are equal to 12. So blue pawn, which is x, is equal to 2, and white pawn, which is star, which is opposite x, is negative 2. And then you do the check. When you do this check guy is 5. Go ahead and try the one here on the right. When you do, you're going to get blue pawn is x is negative 5. White pawn star opposite x is positive 5. And the check number is going to be 2. So that's it. You should definitely do those extra examples for practice, especially you have what the answers are here. Please use the classroom Zoom channel to reach out to each other and help each other with questions. I will see you on Tuesday or office hours on Monday.